Good morning. Thanks for coming out. I'm Rich Ann Mankey. I'm the Vice President, Interim Vice President for Institutional Advancement, and I want to welcome you to this first phase of the 100 Tree Challenge. Glad you came out today. No rain, yay. Lots of wind, but no rain. I want to express my thanks and gratefulness for the support in many ways. Financial, physical, and masterminding this whole thing. Everyone's contributions have made this phase of the 100 Tree Challenge initiative a success. So give yourselves a round of applause. And I don't know where he is at the moment, but I also want to call out specifically Justin Johnston, who put this whole ceremony together and orchestrated lots of other people who all think. But wherever Justin is, raise your hand. So, he's holding the tent up, I understand. So, there are some of us with buttons on, with question marks. If you have questions, ask those folks throughout the day. And you've been trained, and I'm trying to turn my page. So, you know that we're going to do planting, and then if you want to come back up here when you're done, we may do some closing remarks if there's a mass of people. We have a charter that everyone who participated today we'd like to have sign. So if you haven't done that, make sure by the time you leave campus you've signed that charter so that we can commemorate this day. So there are some people who won't otherwise be recognized, and I want to make sure that we say thank you and recognize them. Members of the cabinet who are present, if you'd raise your hand. Bob Beiswinger I know is here. Mike Brogan I know is here. Bobby Mills I know is here. Sherry Gustus. Pat Brown. Dr. Brenda Young for organizing the campus side of this. Mr. Guy Marlette, our Amherst Deputy Town Supervisor. I know he's here somewhere. Members of the Daemen faculty, raise your hand. Members of the Daemen staff. And specifically, members of the physical plant staff. We couldn't have done this without you. Absolutely. Let's give them a round of applause. They were already moving dirt in the dark this morning when I got here at 7 o'clock. Daemen students, and especially the Omega Epsilon Zeta fraternity who were out moving bricks this morning. And then there are some volunteers here from Retree, Western New York, Northrop Grumman, Amherst system, UB's Alpha Kappa Chi and Alpha Phi Omega Greek organizations, Price Waterhouse Cooper, National Society of Black Engineers, People Inc., RICO USA, and the UB Honors College. Yay! Some others of you will be introduced by our president in just a minute. So, but without further ado, let me tell you that participants today to get this ground broken will be Dale Demjanic, the chair of Daemen College Board of Trustees, President Olson, our 6th president, Barry Weinstein, the Amherst Town Supervisor, and Paul Maurer, who's a businessman and chairman of Retree, Western New York. So, thanks for coming out today, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dale Demjanic, Chair of the Board of Trustees of Daemen College. Quiet. Good luck. That work?
I think so. On behalf of the Daemen College Board of Trustees, I want to welcome everyone to this happy event. The Board of Trustees is committed to strong relationships between the college and the Amherst community, and we are delighted to see all the recent efforts to strengthen those relations even further. The Daemen 100 Tree Challenge is yet another way for the college to give back to the community. As our new trees mature and blossom, we invite the Amherst community to visit our campus and enjoy our new green and friendly environment. I would like to thank President Olson and his staff for conceiving this project and bringing it to fruition. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the 6th president of Daemen College, Dr. Gary Olson.
Thank you. Wow, that's some wind. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here on this blustery day. You know, this is a remarkable partnership between Daemen College and Retree, New York, and I want to thank Paul Maurer and all the volunteers from Retree for helping us with this project. It's been invaluable. They've done a great job. We're going to do more than 100 trees today. I'd like to recognize the chair of our board, whom you just heard, Dale Demjanic, who's been a great believer in this project and played a major role in attracting some pretty significant donor dollars to contribute to this. Other trustees who are here are Ms. Audrey Bunis, Mr. Thomas Bridges, Ms. Kathy Campbell, Mr. Don Hutton, and Dr. Brenda Young. Let's give them a round of applause for being here. I'd also like to thank our landscape architect, Dean Gowan, for his professional design of how these trees should be planted in a professional way. I think it's going to pay off as in the years to come when we see the various blossoms and everything. And also Robert Bertone from Home Depot for their generous donation of topsoil and compost. I had a lot more to say, but given the wind and that everybody wants to start, let me just thank everybody who participated in this, all the volunteers, and two people in particular. I want to say that Guy Marlette, the Amherst Deputy Supervisor, has been a real champion of this project. He's given us invaluable advice, helped us with a number of procedural intricacies, and I don't think he'll mind if I reveal the fact that he was the very first donor to this. So let's applaud him. And finally, while a huge number of people, all of you, have worked behind the scenes to make this possible, Vice President Rich Ann Mankey coordinated many of these efforts. And given her role in coordinating this and the recent inauguration events, I think from now on we're going to start referring to her as General Mankey. So let's give her a round of applause. All right, I'm going to suspend these remarks and just say thank you again and introduce to you our wonderful town supervisor, Dr. Barry Weinstein.
Good morning. I'm Barry Weinstein, Town Supervisor. Thank you, Dr. Olson, and thank you to all of you who are here with us today. This is an important day not only for Daemen College, but also for our Amherst community. Daemen College and the town of Amherst have continued to grow our partnership since Dr. Olson arrived this past spring, and today is an important next step in our relationship. I would also like to thank all of you for taking some time from your weekend to be with us. You should know that we intentionally planned this event for a Saturday, early Saturday morning, so that you could all find a parking space. All joking aside, Dr. Olson is brilliant in the sense that this Retree program on the south end of the campus takes out of the consideration for parking the whole south end. It's a brilliant move on his part, and, I mean, it'll beautify Main Street in Amherst. I, alongside Deputy Supervisor Guy Marlette, am excited to be part of today's events. We know that what we create here today will be enjoyed by generations of Amherst residents, provided you water it. And that is something that is very meaningful for our community. We are grateful that Dr. Olson has chosen to make this initiative a priority in his first year of his tenure. At this time, I'd like to introduce our final speaker, Mr. Paul Maurer, Chairman of Retree of Western New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Weinstein, and welcome everyone from Daemen College, our brethren from the Amherst community, and of course, our great faculty and administration from the Daemen group. It's funny because Bobby Mills contacted me early on from here, and he said, would you come in and just talk to us a little bit about a tree plan that we wanted to do, and he rallied Rich Ann and and his crew, and Gary Olson, your president, and Bob Beiswinger. And all of a sudden, we were so taken up with the idea that Ed Dorr came along and said, I'm going to pitch in too with my Western New York Landscape and Nurserymen's Association, and we're going to all get this done and get it all done in one day, which is a credit to the folks right here, you guys, which are going to pitch in a little while and really dig their way through hopefully some nice soft soil, which I think it's been pretty good because it's been pretty wet. I'll move along, but when I first heard about it, I knew immediately we wanted to do this sort of thing, and we've been doing this since 2006. We started Retree Western New York back in '06 after the storm, and we've got 24,000 trees in the ground, almost 25,000 actually, as of today. And we hope to do another 5,000. We lost 57,000 in the whole 18 municipalities that were hit by the storm back in '06. And the 30,000 that we put in with our volunteers equals another 30,000 put in by the various municipalities. We ask for one when we do this. So just figure that whenever you put a tree in, there's another shadow tree out in the public there that's being planted as well. So your contribution is enormous for this effort. I want to also ask you to join in recognizing some of the folks from Retree. They're actually out there working, but my sidekick Art Traver, who's an arborist and a mastermind behind most of the stuff we do and trains and does a great job. And Shane Daly is here from the Olmsted Parks Conservancy. He'll be wearing a jacket kind of like this too, and he'll be helping you out as far as how to put the trees in the ground. And we also have Ed Dorr. I've got to mention him again, from the West New York Landscape and Nurserymen's Association, who's done an enormous effort here in coordinating everything, along with Dean Gowan, who did a great design for us. So I see a few people shivering up front. We're not going to continue any longer. We're just going to go out there and we're going to plant. And we'd like, oh, you got someone else?
Well, we got to do the shovel.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're going to do a quick gold shovel thing for the cameras. And then please stay until we're done today. I know it's probably one of the worst days to be doing this, but your contribution is so important to us. Please carefully dig, and we're going to stake, we're going to mulch, and put some plaques out in front of each tree. So it's going to be kind of fun. And then come back and visit often and see how the trees are doing, especially next spring when everything blooms. It's going to be great. So thank you, everyone, for coming once again, for your dedication and your volunteerism. And we're going to do a shovel presentation right now.
All right, here they go. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's plant trees.
Okay, if everybody wants to come around here, we're going to talk about how we're going to plant trees today. And the more efficient we get, the faster we'll get out of here. Now, I do have a machine over there. In some of the harder areas, I can try to dig if we have to, but it is very wet here.
We'll do a bare root because everybody most is
Okay. Okay. Okay, we're going to move over this way. First of all the letters that you see, all the trees should be at the hole when you get there, but we work in all Latin names. So these are pretty good sized trees for bare root, but you're going to see 3 different type of trees, the way they come in. One is bare root that we have here, bald and burlap are the evergreens, because you can't do evergreens in a bare root setting. And then the ginkgos we have down there is in a processed ball. It's a artificial soil mix, easier for shipping. So we're experimenting with 3 different. Well, not experimenting. We're just going to show you 3 different things. But the big thing is, on every tree here, you can get around.
Come on up here, please.
Is this? Let's see. Okay, this is the wrong. Okay, first thing, always double check the tag. This is the wrong tree. This is a sugar maple, so we have to have this is an Acer rubrum. Now, what I told one of the groups is, when you come to your hole, the first thing you do is take your tag and put it like 2 or 3 feet away. So this here you see is an AR. Acer rubrum, this here is AS, Acer cercerum. So anyway, the first thing you want to do, because Art's here too, Art can take the microphone once in a while. First thing when you get to the tree, besides moving the tag over, is cut the top of the tree. Because you're going to get the tree in the ground and have it all sitting there, and you have to get somebody 12 foot tall to untie it. So then what you want to do is hold this tree up. Right here, where the roots is, this is what you call the flare of the plant. That's where, and we just dug these yesterday, so that's where the soil has to be. So if you take your shovel upside down, you can measure how big the ball should be. Obviously, you know, if you want to be crazy, you could hold it up like this. It's good to have two people on a tree and just go around with your shovel, but you can see on the maples, they're not going to be too deep. And, okay, and then what I tell people is, when I dig a hole, I start in the middle of the hole and work my way out. It's easier. If you start on the outside, you're always prying a lot. So I don't know if you ever get ice cream out of a bowl, when you're getting this real hard, you always start at one spot and then flake away. So that's how I dig a hole. It is good, like these guys are doing here. Make two piles. Instead of making a mess all over, make two distinct piles. Now, obviously you can see there's a lot of root mass going back in that hole, so there's going to be extra soil on these. We're going to come around, wheel where I'll pick it up. So then, okay, let's move over to this tree, because this tree is already in the ground. Oh, I'm sorry. We almost spilled Tim Hortons coffee here. Okay, who are the two guys that did this one? Okay, they're probably faculty, because they forgot to untie the top. Let's... So let's pull it over. Yeah, nice catch. Okay, down a little more. Jenny, if you cut it at the top and the bottom, that's where and then wrap it. Yeah. They won't let me on an airplane with this. Okay. So now, after the top is cut, the hole is dug, it's fit in there. Then what you want to do is throw the soil around, and we were doing a few down there. What I always do is, here, wait, hold on. You can repeat what I say. Throw the soil around it.
Throw the soil around it granularly into the fine roots.
And then what I do, come upside down.
Yep, punch it in. You want those roots to breathe. Oh. And the faster you shovel, the faster you'll get it done.
And always keep looking at it. You know, make sure it's level.
Level it.
What I do too is almost all the tags, all the rope I take. This is all biodegradable rope we use.
So eventually all that will rot and create nice mulch.
So this pretty much, it's going to take 20 minutes to fill that in the way I want to do it. So you fill that in. Now we're also going to stake them, 3 trees to a stake. In western New York, the wind generally comes out of northwest. If we were in Paris, France, it comes out of the southeast. So, no, seriously, the wind's going to come out of this direction here. We're going to put 2 stakes here and 1 stake there. I have all the stakes down there. I've got a pile driver for putting them in. Generally, what we do is we'll show a few people how to do that, because generally we have 1 crew found behind staking the trees. You can, with the extra soil, you can almost make a bowl around this, but it should look neat. I mean, planting a tree is kind of like wrapping a Christmas present. You want it to look nice when you're done. Now, it is very wet here, and I know when I was talking to Don Phillips, some of this area here was a parking lot. You're going to get down about 8 inches or so, and you're going to hit a lot of stuff. So just do the best you can, and if we have a real problem, I'll come with a machine and try to clean it out if you get into stone. Art, is there anything I should be adding? I know, Art, I know we do have compost and mulch, so we'll probably be coming around, but I'll tell you right now, when I'm looking at this hole, I wouldn't even add any compost to it. The soil looks really good. The grass we're throwing back in there is going to break down. Phosphorus is very important to plants, and grass is the highest amount of phosphorus that you could probably find. So don't throw your grass clippings away. And really, the other thing too is, if you dig a hole, take all the bad soil out, and put in all compost, you get what you call the flower pot effect. The roots are not going to go out and search for nutrients because they're going to stay right in that little area. As the plant gets bigger, the plant will dry out. So it is good to assimilate the same soil in the area you're planting. Unless you're like in a total train wreck area, then you would dig a huge hole with a machine like mine and backfill, you know, a 5x5 area. Art, anything? Paul?
What about,
Dean? Okay, I was going to do a 5-minute routine on, no, okay.
did you cover the girdling roots and stuff? To make sure
Oh yeah, if you can, you know, when I was over there, there was one root that was out about 3 or 4 inches. We kind of spun it around. We said that was okay. But if you've got, like these guys did a great job. There was a root that's going out there like 3 feet. They did something right. Okay, so, but they dug a trench out there. You don't want to take the roots and turn them around because they will, in time, girdle themselves. So.
which will strangle the tree.
Okay, so and it's good to have a few people to the tree. So let's go.
He went that way. So we're gonna get ready and start. Michael, Sparky.
A little something for the webpage.
Catching me getting some play out of here.
Okay.
Our tree had the biggest roots, right? Steve is coming.
Documented.
Maybe we should do something.